Hardware Hound here. So I am standing in our little local hub for our fiber internet. See, my little sleepy town of Rangeley, Colorado is getting fiber internet. And while I am making this video mostly for those of the residents who live in this town, some of you guys who follow me might get some benefit from this, especially if you get some fiber coming to your town as well. But what we are starting to find out is that the gigabit service was not giving full gigabit service. And so I've been in here today trying to figure out what the problems were. And then after we do that, we're going to start really digging deep into what the wireless problems have been and trying to figure out how to get the most out of wireless. So we're going to go take a step back into the actual server room where all the network connection stuffs are. I've got a fun little setup there. We've been doing some tests, and we're going to try to figure out exactly what's going on and what you need to do to get full gigabit service. Okay guys, so I am in this server room and I've got a PC up here. It's my PC. Looks nice, doesn't it? All those pretty lights. I think every server should look like that, but what can I say? So we've been doing speed tests and trying to figure out what's going on with the internet. And so over here, we've got gigabit service going to this computer. Now, of course, I'm having to just record this with just my hand and that. Might hear a little bit of that server background noise. We've got some fans and stuff going, but hopefully the shotgun mic is pulling some of that out. Now, we actually have an Ookla approved speed test server. It's right here in Rangeley in this fiber building. So as you can see with my PC connected, oh, my PC is not connected. Ooh, let's fix that real quick. So what we're going to do is I got a little device here. So yeah, see latency test error. That's not going to work, is it? So we're going to just come back here. Now, we have a nice Asus 970 Pro Gaming Aura motherboard. So this is not just your average little motherboard. All right, let's try this again. See what happens here. All right, so everything's coming back up. We got all these ads popping up. All this fun stuff. Now see right here, this is Rangeley, Colorado, folks. So if you want a really nice fiber hub that you know has fiber speeds to test to, little northwestern corner, Colorado, got fiber in this little tiny town. You could test right to here. Okay, beginning the test. And there's just things that make you really happy, like a 1 millisecond ping. And look at that, 934, 35. Fantastic. We can get this gigabit speed. It does exist. It is not hard to do. And so once we get there, now we're going to look at the upload. Hey guys, all you YouTubers out there, how'd you like to upload to that speed? Be kind of nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't take you long to do uploads. So as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff going on here that's working out pretty good. So with my computer, we've got that. Now here's the thing. We can also do a test of the web. So I've got up here on Chrome a speed test app. I'm going to focus in on that a little bit better so we can see it. So this is actually going to speed test to speedtest.net instead of our actual server here. And as you can see, it's going to take a little bit. There's a little tiny loading bar right there at the bottom that's just gradual. It's hard for it to focus on the monitor. So I'm going to come back here a little bit. But we're downloading. Look at that. So see, even on a web test. Now one thing I've noticed is speed test little extension that you can install to Google Chrome seems to work much better for speed testing than the actual website that you go to here. So looking great. Now see, here's the thing. What we have to remember when we're doing web is just because we have gigabit in Rangeley doesn't mean everybody else is. So if I just go to like Denver here and test to a CenturyLink server, let's see what happens. And all these ads, so many ads. I should have put an ad blocker on it just to kill all that ads. Now look at that. See what happened? Our download speed just got cut in half. That changes. You see, we can't, just because we have fiber doesn't mean the rest of the country has fiber. And that's the things that you got to realize. When you've got gigabit speed, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to always utilize it, even if everything in your house is great. So we've already got that going. Now the upload will always tend to be higher than the download, because of the biggest reason is that most people don't use upload near as much as they use download. Therefore, there's a lot more upload to divvy out and take advantage of than there is download. Your download's going to be a little slower in speeds of this excess. Now, we've also got, in this setup here, let me get logged back into this guy, because I've got just a little random laptop here that we're going to use to try to do some testing on. So what I figured out about this laptop is the network interface card that was built into the laptop was only 100 megs per second. And so here's one of the key things that for those of you who live in Rangeley, you really got to realize that if you bought a $300 to $600 laptop, kind of like a Dell here or an HP. Well, this is an HP here. But anything like that, don't expect that they put really high-end quality hardware in that laptop. The most that this network port, if we come over here to the side, you can see it right there. There's the Ethernet port. Now, I should easily get a gig speed off of that, but they only put a 100 meg network port. That means it does not matter how fast my internet is, I'm only going to get 100 meg on this. And the wireless would be even worse. But we're not going to deal with wireless today. So what we have here is a USB 3.0 external adapter. And so USB 3.0 is supposed to have theoretical speeds of 5 gigabits per second, which means, in theory, we should be able to take advantage of that gig service that we have. So we're going to plug in, and we're going to test it out. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. Can I get it? I almost got it, I think. Hold on, we're going to have to set down here for a moment and make sure. There we go. Now I got it in there. All right. So we're all plugged in. We're ready to go. So in theory, we should be able to take advantage of this full speed and see what happens with a USB 3.0 port. But will that actually happen? Give you a hint. I already know the answer to this. I've been doing this already. Now, already we're having some little bit slower times with some of the loading and stuff. Now, I did put an ad block to help out this laptop here, so we don't get all those 500 ads. So here we go. We're speed testing away. Still have a great ping, but look at what happens there. Our download speed just starts throttling at around 300 megs. This is the key thing to remember, folks, is that even though you have theoretical speeds, adapters are always going to slow you down. They aren't the same as now technically everything is a network. Well, everything in some ways, shape, or form is an adapter. But an actual network interface card, an NIC or a NIC, as sometimes you'll hear IT people say, is going to be the best bet whenever you're trying to do testing. And if you do not have a quality NIC, then you're not going to get much. Now, here's what's interesting, though, and this is one thing that I thought was fun about speedtest.net. If I go to their app in Chrome, we're going to go ahead and do this little guy again. So watch this. All right, make sure we're focused in on that. So see, our download is starting to creep back up to about where our other one was. We're actually speed testing the web page, so we're not quite as fast as our local thing. But look at how fast that upload goes. That upload is going through the roof. Now this is, oh, what happened here? Yeah, now you can just see me. I have no idea why this laptop just randomly shut off. So because of that, I guess that is really weird. So you know what, I guess this test is just bound to try to mess up. But as you could see there right at the end, we got just barely enough, and that's all that matters. As you could see right there at the end, the upload speed, we've noticed this anomaly. Sometimes you're going to get crazy upload speeds that are double what your download speed is. I'm going to be looking into this a little bit more, but my guess is that, A, there's some bandwidth issues there, but the other thing is that I think overall there's going to be a quality control with cards that for some reason they're giving better uploads and downloads when they probably shouldn't be. Downloads are more important. So it's hard to say. I want to do some research on that. Stay with me for a little bit. I'm going to come back here shortly. I'm going to uninstall McAfee, and we're going to see what happens when there's no McAfee in the way, because I have a feeling it might change some stuff. We'll be back shortly. Okay, so I've concluded I really could have used one of those Steadicam things from CES. Trying to do this by hand, it's really hard to keep it steady, and even though I have a little bit of steady feature with open camera here, it's probably not doing a ton. We'll do the best we can with what we have. How's that sound? So, all right. I figured out what happened to the laptop. Ran out of battery. I hadn't plugged it into the power strip yet, and juice went down. It's it's coming back. We're getting juice again. All right. So this laptop, as you can see, we did our actual speed test, and it didn't come back with flying colors on the web. This is going right here to our fiber community hub, our fiber room. So we should have virtually no lag. I mean, I'm literally sitting in the room that we are testing to. And look, download and upload. Then we use the speed test app, and look at that, download and upload. So look at how high that upload got. We're same adapter. We still got the same little USB 3.0 adapter going to a Cat 6 cable, and yet that's so much different than that. Now, I decided to uninstall McAfee, and so we may not see any difference, but let's just see. Let's find out. We are on this journey together. What happened there? What is going on? Do you see what I'm seeing? I have not restarted this computer, so I did check the services to make sure nothing McAfee was running, and it wasn't. But would you look at that? Would you look at that? I'm trying not to be mean. I hate McAfee. I hate it. Every time I've seen it on somebody's computer, I've always had to get rid of it. Nothing's changed, folks, except that I have uninstalled it. I've got Windows Defender now running. The upload speed's about the same, but look at that download speed. Look at how that changed. Now let's come over here to the little speed test app and see if that's consistent. Because maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe we're just dealing with a fluke. Oh my goodness! We're still growing. So, now we're over 3. I feel like this is all the validation I need to continue hating McAfee. Oh, I hate McAfee. We're still getting a higher upload than we are a download. But even our upload, look at that, man, it's everything's higher. So guys, what am I trying to prove here? What am I trying to say? Look, if you've got gigabit service and you're here in Rangeley, and you're wondering why aren't you getting gigabit, you've got to understand. And these are the questions you got to ask yourself whenever you sign up with cutting edge technology. Does everything else have cutting edge technology? Guys, it's not just the Ethernet cable. It's not just the Ethernet adapter. It's not just whether or not you have McAfee installed. There's also processors and RAM and hard drives in here. Just upgrading from a traditional hard drive, spinning hard drive, to a solid state disk, that could change these numbers and help them improve. Having a processor that's like a Core i5 or Core i7 versus something like a little Pentium that's just meant to be cheap could change those speeds. Having some high bandwidth memory that has really high megahertz speeds, say 2600 megahertz or 3000 megahertz, could change those speeds. You see, there is so many things going on here with this little laptop that could be stopping you from getting the speeds, even just having the wrong antivirus program. You see, we just went ahead and ditched McAfee, and look at that. Now we're running Windows Defender, and look at Windows Defender protecting the PC, better speeds. So every little tiny thing can affect this. So when you're looking at getting a gigabit service, you've got to ask yourself, is it worth it? And I've got to say, as much as I hate to do this because I love gigabit service, and I'd probably put it in my home, you're probably still only looking at getting the most out of your internet with about 100 to 300 megabits. And it's not even about just your equipment. It's about everything else in our country. Right now, fiber is the exception, a very, very tiny exception to the rule that is everybody who has cable or DSL internet. And as long as the rest of the country is still playing catch up to gigabit speeds, then you're going to hit bottlenecks constantly. That said, you got a 4K TV in your living room and you want to stream Netflix at 4K resolution, a gigabit service is going to come in really handy. So guys, here's the first step. Understand that our equipment here is working well. We can get gigabit if we have really high-end computer hardware backing it up. But if we don't, we're going to slow down. Next step is going to be testing wireless. Wireless is even more finicky than everything we just showed you here. So tune in. We're going to leave this at this first episode, and then eventually we're going to get some equipment. We're going to test some wireless speeds, and we're going to show you the best ways to get the most out of your wireless and see what kind of speeds you can get there. And I think this will help everybody here in Rangeley especially understand how their internet service is working. I also think for those of you who don't live in Rangeley and just follow my channel, you might see some benefits if you're seeing fiber come into your community or just, want some info. Also, those of you who are networking experts, feel free to let me know in the comments below if there's any tips or tricks that you've got in helping get a fiber service working better. I am not a networking expert. I'm a decent troubleshooter, but there's plenty that I would love to learn. So if you guys got tips or tricks that'll help us out, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I will catch you later.